So Daisy Courtney 100 says, what position do the Vikings need to target in this year's draft? And do you trust Kwesi to make the right decisions? Well, the two that stick out to me, Ziggy, are defensive line. I'm going to combine edge rusher and defensive tackle, and then quarterback as well. I don't expect, unless the Vikings move up, I'd be really surprised to see them take a quarterback at 11, whether it be Penix or Bo Nix or McCarthy. So if they do move, I have lurking suspicions that they are really into Jayden Daniels, just from the way they've acted in the past couple drafts, the way they studied him this year. Something, I have a gut feeling that they're going to make a big move up to 3, or try at least, to go after Jayden Daniels. If not, I can see them sitting back. And even Terry and Arnold, the cornerback, I could see that as another thing. There's so many needs on the defensive side of the ball. But yeah, right now I have to go.
Can I just say best defensive player available?
Yeah, right now I take best defense, yeah.
Interestingly, I don't think defensive line is as much of a need as you. I think defensive line is a big deal. But for me, one thing I'd really like to see them do is I just want to see them get faster at every single position. There were so many plays where it felt like, Flores runs his defense, and it's important to have guys who can move around a lot, where it felt like so many players had lost a step at basically every position.
What I'd love to have just a freak linebacker. I've been waiting a long time for them to do that. I know this draft isn't really loaded up.
That might be
on that
besides
position.
Star quarterback. That might be the most fun player to have.
Oh, when you just have someone who could blow up. Yeah, this draft doesn't really have that. So I'm thinking they're looking right now at the UCLA kid, maybe Verst. It's Verst, right, from Florida State.
Yeah, but every defensive line. This is a terrible year for defensive line.
Yeah, I think they're gonna. I know that they're talking about Brown as well from Texas.
No, yeah, you're right. I mean, we can't let Harrison Phillips be the only good player on our defensive line.
Yeah, if they don't bring back Hunter now, we're talking about a depleted unit. So I think D-line is probably going to wind up being the position they go with. But quarterback's the one that I have my eyes.
And, there's been a lot of hate for Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, but I'm not saying he's done a great job, but I haven't seen any indication that he's done a bad job.
Do I trust Kwesi? No, I absolutely don't trust Kwesi. Not at all.
Yeah, that thing.
What does he show me? What does he show me?
What has he failed to show you? I mean, he hasn't done a perfect job, but he's drafted plenty of productive
players. He rubbed
me
the wrong way immediately on his first draft. And I had a horrible first impression. Ziggy, I sat there in my Notre Dame apartment when we traded that pick to Detroit, and I thought when you moved down 14, what was it, 16 spots, 18 in the draft, I was like, oh my God, we absolutely fleeced these guys. We got Louis Cine and Andrew Booth out of that. And we were like high-fiving the next day. Neither of them have done anything for us. They passed on Hamilton. I've had a bad taste. The Hawkinson trade, phenomenal. Everything else that he's done in the draft, I'm like,
Oh, yeah, the Jordan Addison pick. Mekhi Blackmon.
Other than Addison, sorry. I mean, it's okay. I liked Pace, but we didn't draft him, so it was an undrafted free agent. It was a good signing.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't deserve credit for signing Pace because he didn't literally take him in the draft. Yeah, okay.
Look, I think he's done an okay job. I don't really trust him that much, though.
Yeah, but when you say there's no way I trust him, that makes me think that you've got a negative impression of him.
Yeah, I do have a negative impression.
He's done a fine job. He has done a fine job.
He botched the biggest pick he's had.
He's done a fine job.
So we'll see. I don't trust. Maybe I'm a little hard on him, but that's personal issues. Okay, Casey Morgan 5659 says, this is kind of similar. We'll touch on this quick. What moves, free agency, trade, draft would you like the Vikings to make this offseason? And conversely, what moves from the other NFC North teams would concern you? Concerning? I'm a little concerned. Look, the move that's going to happen that I'm concerned about is Caleb Williams going to Chicago, because I don't want to see the best quarterback in the draft class go to the Bears, and now we have to deal with Jordan Love, Caleb Williams, and the upstart Lions for the next 5-10 years, whatever it may be. Detroit would be the team over that stretch I'm actually the least concerned about if Chicago gets Caleb. So that's the most concerning piece to me. If the Packers go and upgrade their secondary now with Halfley, that concerns me.
I'm not worried about the Bears taking a quarterback because whoever they take, he's going to be bad. It's the Bears. But if like Jordan Whitehead or Jordan Fuller signs of Green Bay, I mean, Jordan Fuller was so good with Hafley at Ohio State back in, what was it, like 2019?
Yeah.
I would be really worried if the Packers go out and start getting a bunch of defensive upgrades to go over their shiny
I'm really
defensive
worried about them
coordinator.
upgrading their secondary and being very, very good. And then for the Vikings, it's kind of what we just mentioned. Try and go after some defensive linemen. I don't know if they're gonna make a move for a big name like Wilkins or anything like that.
You don't
I'd be
need
really
to. You
surprised
just
if
need
they
to.
did.
You just need productive players.
But yeah, I'd really like to just hit on a couple guys in the draft on the defensive side of the ball, and then we'll see what happens at quarterback with Kirk. Let's say Kirk does move on away from the Vikings. What would be their plan moving forward, and would they be forced to draft or trade for a quarterback? What would the fallout be for Justin Jefferson, etc.?
First of all, Justin Jefferson's re-signing no matter what. We're going to pay him the money.
There's the guaranteed money issue, but he'll be a Viking. Next.
Yeah, so otherwise, I mean, what's the plan if Kirk moves on? I don't think they're going to do a big trade up. I think they are going to scout the quarterbacks, see if they like any of them, hope the ones they like either follow them or get within close to striking range. You know, there are some teams in the NFL draft top 10 that won't be interested in the quarterback. Say you can move up, maybe not to 3, but one of the later picks in the like 8, 9, 10. There's a few spots up there.
What the hell are we going to do at 8 or 9? What do you want to do there?
I mean, you might just be interested in moving up because you're worried about someone else taking your guy.
If we trade up to 8 or 9 for JJ McCarthy, I'm going to put my fists through a wall.
Look, it's moving up from like 11 to 9 or is not that expensive. You can move up with Tennessee to 7, jump the Falcons. Like there are some opportunities there. I'm just saying, like, we're not trading up for a big. We're not trading up big, but regardless, what?
You know, I don't know why, Ziggy, but I really think when I look at the position of the Vikings right now, they've been waiting to hit reset for a long time. This has been a long time coming. And I think O'Connell's ready for, we're going to take this next step forward with O'Connell as our head coach here. We're going to, if we don't re-sign Kirk, because that's what it says. Let's say they move away from Kirk. You got to have someone you're confident in. I think they're going to swing for the fences. I really think they're going to go up to 3 and try and make a big move. That's what I'm seeing. That's just what it feels like to me. They tried to do it for Richardson. It didn't work. It's going to come down to whether or not they can win.
We don't know if they tried to do it for Richardson.
It seems like they did.
The rumor is that the Vikings offered to trade 5 first-round picks. Problem, you can only trade 3 first-round picks. So I don't believe that source, and that's the only source.
Do I think they'll feel forced? No, not forced. But I do think that this regime feels like, all right, let's get our guy this year. Because that window with Jefferson, it's not closing soon, but it comes up quicker than you expect.
If there's not success relatively early in the second contract, he'll want to move on, I think.
Yeah, and that would just, we're talking about one of the best receivers in the history of football, possibly by the time it's all said and done.